In the Parliament of Guyana, even though we have made some progress, we're seeing 35% of women parliamentarians, we still have a long way to go in working with the Parliament and the citizenry to ensure that Parliament is a place or an environment where women are not intimidated by the males, where women are empowered, to speak freely, to express themselves as women and not be intimidated by the opposite side just because we're women. And so, even though we have adopted legislation to ensure that women are a part of the highest decision-making body, that is the parliamentarians in our country, like I said before, we still have a much more way to go, because I'll be happy as a woman parliamentarian, being an indigenous woman too, in the happy if the country can reach the 50% by 2030. So we have to work towards that. We have to improve the environment and offer opportunities to women. Recently and unfortunately, the Parliament of Guyana has been experiencing something that I may call verbal, or what I may say, mental, physical, psychological attacks on women parliamentarians, especially on the opposite side from the government. The male parliamentarians from the government tend to utter words which should not be uttered to women, whether you be on the government side or on the opposition side. But for example, recently, a woman parliamentarian, when standing on the floor, was told by an opposition male parliamentarian, you need a dildo. And, this thing was really, something that I did it personally, and I don't think no one should condone anything of such, referring remarks to women and parliamentarians. And what I found when I returned home, the young indigenous girls, they are not motivated to become a parliamentarian. They say, I don't want to get into parliament to be hearing such remarks, And so that was something negative that had developed and my hope is that as the Parliament of Guyana, that we will work towards eradicating this sort of behavior in the highest forum where legislation is made. To them is that it is good to be a representative of your people. And despite of what discrimination and hateful remarks may tend to you shouldn't be quiet. You should be able to speak up for your own rights, because what you will find in many of our indigenous communities, they tend to be very quiet, even though they experience forms of discrimination, whether it be education-wise, less opportunities to improve and to elevate their education. They tend to remain quiet. They're very peaceful, quiet. They don't tend to do, but I will advise them and say, you need to speak up. You need to let the world know. You need to let your government know. You need to let your representatives know that, there are some needs that needs to be fulfilled so that you too can also enjoy a good life in your country or in your community. So that's how I encourage them to be bold, to be brave, despite of what they may be faced with.